So I have neglected doing videos for the last few weeks because I have been super busy getting stuff done. But I have all my veggies for the most part in the ground. This is pretty much all flowers except for the asparagus. They also desperately need, oh, and some goji berries. I forgot about the red goji berries. But they also desperately need water because I haven't watered them for 2 days. That is a beautiful plant that my parents got me for my birthday that I love, but it is supposed to be in like partial shade, and I don't really have a yard with much partial shade unless I put it like in the middle of my yard. How did you get a toy out there? Sorry, totally got distracted by this cat. What the fuck? Anyway. Alright, back to it. These are some awesome little pansies that I found on clearance at Walmart for $2.50 for a 4-pack. So they're going to be scattered throughout my fence rows. And I'm hoping they reseed themselves and come back because they're gorgeous. That was in a box that was labeled wisteria, and I was stupid and didn't double check and grabbed it, and it's a frickin' lilac. I already have 4 lilacs. I don't need another, or excuse me, no, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 lilacs already, so I don't really need another one. Not sure what the fuck I'm gonna do with it. It might go in the front yard. Out of all of the seeds that I did winter sowing, the only thing so far to show any sign of life is one snowberry plant. So, yay to that at least. Now for the actual, oh wait, no, I'm not done yet. This beautiful thing that my parents got me for my birthday that I love, and it's an annual, and I don't want it to die, so it's now in a pot because it's going to live in my greenhouse in the wintertime. Alright, now to the garden. Catnip's happy. Those are forget-me-nots and red valerian, I believe. They're happy. Salvia and probably cosmos. I don't remember, and oh, that's a pretty seed. There are morning glories. That's what the fuck they're called. I do have morning glories in here. Now, this is the part that makes me happiest. Alright, so we're going to start with the pretty stuff first. I still haven't pulled this thyme out, and it's so pretty, I don't want to do anything to it. But the problem is that it's choking out the stuff that's near it. Now the oregano is thriving. A little bit buried, but it's thriving. That valerian is doing a lot better than it did last year. But, oh, it is not a red valerian, it's a white valerian. This is the other valerian. So, like, huge freaking difference. So, I definitely need to pull some of the thyme out from over here so it stops trying to overtake things. But we'll see what I end up figuring out. I haven't sat down and thought about it yet. This is a common sage plant or garden sage. They're biennial and they bloom, and I love it, and it just looks so stinking pretty with my pretty little salvias, which unfortunately are towards the end of their life or bloom span right now because I didn't get out here earlier. I'll deadhead them and they'll have a second flush, so it'll be great. Let's see. I did put some white sage over here since the sage doesn't seem to be bothered by the thyme too much. And it's pretty much only going to get like yay big, so it should be perfect there. And then dill. This is the first time I've actually had it successfully germinate in the greenhouse and not die on me. Dill and cilantro tend to be the things I do not do well. So I'm kind of hoping it does well and proliferates because I kind of want to make dill pickles. We'll see. Lavender's starting to come back. I technically have horehound planted right here, but the only baby plant, well, okay, there's 2 or 3 baby plants here right now. That one looks like a common weed, so I'm really hoping that's not what it is. This one might be a horehound seedling. I've never grown it. I don't know what it's supposed to look like. Oh, hey, and then there's another one. So you know what? I have a feeling those are the horehound seedlings because they're in proximity. But we'll see. I gotta let them get bigger because I don't know. And I'm pretty sure that is a baby salvia plant, so that's gonna get ganked. And then I've got a little borage plant here that seems to be okay. That one's doing great. I did pull like 4 other volunteers up because borage grows like crazy. Sweet marjoram is thriving since I transplanted it. This lavender is doing great. The other 2 are kind of iffy. I need to come out here and cut all this dead shit off. But lavender's weird, and sometimes it'll like grow leaves on the dead shit, and it's hard to know whether or not you're cutting something that needs to be cut. So yeah, or at least this time of the season. Over here, still got the coneflowers doing kind of mediocre. What the hell happened to you? Looks like I might have had a bunny over here eating it. Lamb's ear's fine. Catnip's fine. Pretty sure that's a baby board, but we'll see. Mizuna and Japanese red mustard are doing great, but they're still seedlings, and they should have started developing more by now. So I've been trying to come out here and water them more often and baby them to see if maybe that's what it is. But it's kind of annoying. More catnip. Another pretty little salvia. Those are pink Cosmo babies. Catnip. More catnip. Coneflowers that are actually doing really, really well. No random grass weed that I don't need. And then I do have some seedlings down here. I just don't remember what I planted. So, I think one of them was arugula. I know one of them was carrots, and none of those have germinated. Let's see. Got all of my peppers planted finally. So, I left the tags in the ground so that I could do the video and know what I was talking about. Those are my Sugar Rush Peach. These are the Chinese 5 color. That's the only ahi, I don't know if it's aji or if it's ahi, that germinated. So, yay, at least having one. And then there are all of my poblanos, because I did end up with 6. And then I went ahead and decided to add the eggplant in with it since it didn't take up all that much room. One thing I love about peppers is they like to be crowded. So I like to make little pepper forests, essentially, with as big as those plants will get by the end of the season. It's gonna be pretty. Eggplants are doing well. You'll see a lot of yellowing on the leaves because they got a little bit overwatered when I first planted them. These are my purple tomatillas. It's been getting hot enough, even though that I've hardened them off outside. I don't want to take a chance of the babies dying, kind of like the ones that are on my porch that need to be watered. I did get the bunching onions, bleaks, if you can see them. They're kind of hard to see. Planted over here. These are the red, yellow, and white onions. They are all doing great. I've been watering them pretty often too because I don't want them to end up being super hot or bitter. Let's see here. So I think I'm going to put my red Brussels sprouts out here, but I'm really hoping I didn't wait too late in the season because if it's hitting 80 and 90 degrees, they're going to bolt and they're not going to grow anything, which is what happens with me in brassicas every year, unfortunately. Well, except cabbage. I have had cabbage do really well, and then the freaking cabbage moths get to it, and once it's been infested, it's just not worth messing with. This is where I rotated my squash to, and I seeded everything 2 or 3 weeks ago. And a few days ago, I noticed that this is a white zucchini. There's another one right about there that hasn't germinated yet. And then there's that one. And then there's that one. I do practice a lot of square foot gardening type techniques. So even though those are going to be 3 fairly large plants, they will probably be okay. I haven't had any issues in the past. If that 4th one comes up, it'll be a nice little fill-in. That being said, I do believe in pruning my squash plants. So if they get out of hand, we'll just cut a few leaves off. Now, the one thing I'm worried about in this bed is over here is where I planted cucumber seeds and nothing has germinated. Now, these are honey nut butternut squashes, so that was cool because I planted 5 and hoped at least 2 of them would grow. And then there was another cucumber over here, and I thought I saw one germinated this morning, but that's not a cucumber seedling. So maybe I didn't. That or maybe a squirrel ate it. I don't know. They like to get into my shit. But anyway, squash seems to be doing okay. Oops, why are you unfocusing? Over here, I finally got my tomatoes planted. And then this one is my cherry tomatoes. So I've got black strawberry tomatoes on this side and black cherry on that side. Or no, excuse me. I can see the tag now. Those are the black strawberry. These are the black cherry. And then I've got Thai basil and then micro tomatoes. I want to say these are the orange hat. That's a lemon basil and tiny Tim micro tomatoes. And then these are ground cherries. This isn't the greatest place to put ground cherries because they get really big. but I don't really have anywhere else to put it except for the fence row, and I haven't started that yet, and I needed to plant them, so we're just gonna see if we can make it work. And then Rosie Finch micro tomatoes, and I took out over 3/4 of my bee balm because there was so stinking much of it, and have it in the greenhouse rooting at the moment, so I can give it away to other people because it's pretty. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to talk about the peas. They're doing great. They're blooming. I'm starting to have little peas form on the vines, though I would prefer the vines to be a little bigger by now. And over here is my other round of tomatoes. These are my regular sized tomatoes. These have a special name, but they're green tomatoes. Those are called pineapple tomatoes. These are Cherokee Purple, one of my all-time favorites. And these are Orange Accordion, which I've never actually had because last year they didn't do anything. And then this is lettuce leaf basil. In front of it is Orange Hat Micro Tomatoes. And I'm not sure if I have a cutworm. I don't know if bunnies eat tomatoes. I wouldn't think so. But those two got attacked a few days ago. Nothing has been attacked since. And it looks like they ate the top off that one as well. And the great thing about tomatoes is they'll just create more branches, so as long as they don't get mowed over by anything else, they should be okay. But we'll see. And then I have purple opal basil in this bed. And I want to say the tomatoes were in the same order: the Orange Hats, the Tiny Tins, and the Rosie Finches. And if I'm wrong, I'll find out when the tomatoes actually ripen, because they won't be the right colors. And then last but not least, I turned this into a food production this year. It is white scalloped squash, I believe, also known as patty pan squash. And I had 3 germinate. I planted 2 seeds on each side. And this should be more than big enough. I've grown a metric ton of stuff in here before. I've actually grew corn in this thing before that was somewhat successful. So, yeah. That's all the main garden. And there's nothing fun to see yet on the parts of the yard that I reseeded because it's still just baby plants. But once those start growing and blooming, I will definitely do an update on those. My elderberries and my grapevine look amazing. The grapevine I need to get covered before the Japanese beetles show up because they've decimated it last year, and I was pissed because it has a ton of grape clusters on it. Now, that being said, we also found a raccoon in our yard the other day. So I need to make sure that I net it so that the raccoons can't get it, which should be fun because raccoons are smart and they have opposable thumbs. So this might be a pain in the ass. And then over here, it's called the fence row of weediness because my husband is terrified of mowing anything over because he killed a gooseberry last year. He killed a gooseberry the year before that. He's killed one of my astilbes twice. The other one came back this year, so thankful for that. So yeah, so he has to wait until I'm out here to help him. But I put little butterflies, it's really hard to see, in the ground around everywhere that I had plants to try to help him, but apparently that didn't work. But I've got a coneflower right there along with a bee balm. Nothing behind this until we get to the gooseberry that is covered in grass. And over here we have another coneflower. Some of my mulching actually seems to have helped because these aren't covered in weeds or anything as bad. That's another lilac. It's not a common lilac though. I don't actually remember what kind it is. I've had it for ages. Very happy gooseberry. Coreopsis, and I can't remember if it's an azalea or a gardenia. Another very happy gooseberry. And then that is a red daiquiri agastache, I think. Catmint. Pink chiffon rose of Sharon. Dead goji. Makes me sad. Russian sage. That is a butterfly bush, tiny little thing down there starting to grow. And then my white Gilead that is absolutely beautiful, and I love it, and I can't wait till it gets huge. And this goji isn't technically dead, but wow, it's really hard to see with all this grass grown in. These suckers have wicked thorns. it's not, that's like all the green that's on it. Like, it is just not doing well. Neither one of them have been doing well for the last couple of years, and I think I just got them in the ground too late. So these are going to get cut down. And I'm probably going to put some sort of ground covery stuff over here instead of putting another bush in. Because when the Weigelia gets bigger and the butterfly bush and the Russian sage and agastache and all that stuff that's going down the line, I think I'd rather have it have a lower profile so that those will show up better. And then my parents got me soil and hay, or straw, excuse me, for my birthday. And that is part of what is going to go in here and start helping to get rid of the grass and all that fun stuff. Also found a few wood violets hiding out, which made me really happy because I really want those in my yard. There were 4 along my fence lines, so I'm hoping they do well and spread. And then I threw a bunch of white clover and red clover to try to fill in the gaps, which it's not bare like it was after they were done with the fence anymore, but it's really hard to tell anything since it hasn't been mowed, so I really hope he gets around to doing that sooner rather than later. And before anyone thinks I could do it myself, I do a lot of chores. I don't like to mow the yard. It's his job. We made a deal. All right. Last but not least, this weed patch. And the reason he hasn't mowed it is because I have muscari hiding down there. Those little circular seed pods, you can see them. I don't want him to kill them. So he just didn't mow anywhere he thought they existed. So it works. And then this is the rose from last year that the bunnies had eaten all the way down to the ground. It's grown about 2 feet so far. It's doing fantastic. Blooming already. Makes me super happy. And then all of the muscari that's going to seed. And my daffodils that are almost done for the season. And this one, I have no idea why it looks so much better. But, like, we don't have tall grass over here. It's just the muscari and my daffodils. And then this beautiful little rose that has also grown about 1.5 feet. And it looks fantastic. And my 4 little lilacs are done for the year, but that's okay. And then more daffodils. And then those are volunteer cosmos, I think. If not, they may be Queen Anne's lace. Unfortunately, they have similar leaves, so it's hard to tell. But I will be using the soil out of this to put in pots that I'm going to have out here. I just haven't done it yet, so. But yeah, next video I will make sure that all of this is cleaned up, and I will hopefully have the pansies in the ground, and we'll start to actually see how all of it is coming together. And I'm super excited.